She's not your classic detective.
Right. When are we going to see you in a full-fledged comedy?
I'm hoping that someone writes that,
Yeah.
Very few films have worked theatrically
Exactly.
in the past years.
Is there a full-fledged Maniratnam film on cards with Vidya Balan? Hello everybody, I'm Vivek MV and I have with me actor Vidya Balan today. Hello Vidya, welcome to
Hi.
The Hindu.
Thank you.
Vidya, Indian cinema has had very iconic detectives, like say Byomkesh Bakshi. He was a very street smart detective, and in down south there was Mammootty in the CBI series as Sethu Raman, who was very instinctive and calm and composed. So what is Mira Rao in Neeyat?
She's not your classic detective.
Right.
I think that's what endeared her to me.
Right.
The fact that she's, normally detectives have a very, um, they have a certain style
Yeah.
that's unique to them or individual to them. There's a certain flamboyance sometimes. But I think Mira Rao does not come across as a detective at all.
Okay.
She's she's sharp but
Hmm.
shy,
Right.
supremely intelligent, supremely knowledgeable, like a geek. She would know things that I can't ever imagine knowing in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So, but I think she enjoys decoding stuff, including human behavior.
Yeah.
She likes solving mysteries and cases and problems,
Yeah.
which is why I think she makes a good detective. You all will have to watch and decide. But I think what's unique to her is the fact that she's constantly observing and absorbing, but you don't realize she is.
Okay.
It's almost like the placid river,
Right.
under which there are lots of rumblings.
Yeah. 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 So, first theatrical release since 2019, that is
Yes,
Mission Mangal.
yes.
What did you miss?
The theatrical experience.
Uh,
But having said that, I'm so grateful
hmm,
that three of the films I did, which
hmm,
were meant to be theatrical films,
yeah,
got released on OTT,
yeah,
because they could have been languishing
exactly.
without a release. And I'm so grateful that the OTT platforms, Prime Video, gave them a release, and they were extremely loved, each
Yeah.
one of them, and watched by large numbers
Hmm,
of people, which is fantastic. But I feel Neeyat is a theatrical experience.
right.
Jalsa was a more intimate, personal
Hmm,
experience. I feel Shakuntala was a theatrical experience also.
yeah,
I feel, therefore, also about Niyat, that it's got that scale,
yeah, yeah.
the kind of scale that makes you feel that it's almost breathtaking, so you need to consume that on a
Correct.
big screen. So I'm glad.
Right. You mentioned about these three movies, right? Sherni, Shakuntala Devi, and Jalsa. So, box office result is a big confidence booster for any actor. But when it's an OTT release, have you tried to understand how to measure a result on OTT?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I think that I haven't understood the numbers game at all.
Okay.
Uh, for example, there have been films that have, of course, done great commercial
Hmm,
success,
hmm,
and which means loads of people watched it.
hmm,
And yet, there are films that didn't do well theatrically,
hmm.
which then on repeated telecasts on television had big viewership.
Yeah.
Also, now because they're available on OTT platforms, they're being consumed right, left, and center.
Yeah.
And I'm quite amazed. I don't quite understand how this works. But importantly, as long as my work is seen
Hmm,
and work is loved and appreciated,
right.
I'm grateful.
Right.
And of course, commercial success is always welcome. On OTT, I'm guessing by the measure of people who watch it as soon as it drops, or the number of
Exactly.
messages you get. But on OTT, the messages come to you in a more staggered fashion also,
Yeah.
over a longer period of time. Sometimes at the most unexpected times, because you can watch it whenever.
Yeah. Vidya, you have enjoyed the stag of box office queen, right? So post pandemic, everybody are trying to understand the psyche of the audience who go to theaters. So can we pick an example of a Gangubai and try to understand what did they do right for a female-led film to be a box office success?
I think, I wouldn't like to see it as a female led
Yeah,
film because very few films have worked theatrically in the
exactly. Yeah,
past year. So it's not like male led films have worked
yeah,
any
yeah,
better. I just think that it, it's a Sanjay Leela Bansali film which, has scale. You want to watch it on the big screen. Everything is larger than life,
yeah.
in my opinion. But people like to go in for those movies, but those movies
Hmm.
which have a solid story also.
Right.
It's not just visual appeal.
Yeah.
Both have to work in tandem. That's what worked for Gangubai. I think, and it's really, I think the industry is going through a period of flux. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. It's a tough time, yes,
Yeah.
but I think this churn is very important for us to reinvent ourselves,
Right.
to reinvent the idiom of Hindi cinema.
Yeah.
You know, um, like the South.
Hmm.
In the South, Telugu films have a certain idiom, Tamil films have a
Yeah.
certain idiom, Kannada films have a certain
Yeah.
idiom. So, I think for us to reinvent ourselves, this is a necessary evil.
Right. Just to add on to that, when you started, Bollywood has always enjoyed visibility, right?
Yeah.
And but now the South has caught up in terms of content and visibility. So that reinvention that you're talking about, somebody who's experienced in terms of professionalism or creativity, what should Bollywood do next in the coming years?
No, I think we will. I'm no one to really say what Bollywood should be
Right.
doing next, but I think we should all just be telling stories that we feel passionately about,
Right.
that we are able to tell with 100% conviction.
Right.
Not cater to a certain audience,
Hmm.
not not really make the film hoping that we'll be able to get
Hmm.
large audiences in, or a certain kind of, just tell a story because you want to tell a story.
Right, right. So, in cinema, comparisons are quite inevitable, right? Even a master like Mani Ratnam did an Indianized version of Godfather. So, is like Neeyat a nod to a very good, well-made series like a Knives Out or something like that? Is there a way to kind of appreciate an already available template?
No, I don't think so. I think it's great that it's being compared to a
Right,
Knives Out on the basis of a trailer. I
right.
think it's great. Y'all haven't even watched the film. But I think importantly, Vivek, if you pick up 5 films from this genre,
Hmm.
they will all have certain similarities.
Yeah.
There are tropes that the genre uses.
Okay.
So those are, like, I love saying this, why does every murder mystery happen in a secluded location?
Yeah.
Either a palace or a castle or or a remote island. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And but people are, because Knives Out is very recent, people feel that, oh, maybe. But it's not. I think Anu Menon has written an original story.
Right.
But yes, there are tropes that she's used.
Yeah.
And when you watch the film, I think I'm not really I don't think it's a nod only to Knives Out. It's a
Yeah.
nod to all the films that have come before
Right.
in this genre, if at all. I don't know if Anu Menon intended it like that, but I'm saying by sheer virtue of being a film of this
Right,
genre.
right. Vidya, when we talk about your career, say Kahani or something like Dirty Picture, the physicality of your character, you had to work on
Yeah,
it, right? But say like a Sherni or even a Jalsa, your performance is quite internalized.
yeah.
So have you taken that path now,
No,
where?
no, it's just, at different stages in life, I think maybe I'm more like, I've been thinking a lot. So, which is
Okay,
why I ended up doing a Sherni and Jalsa. Those
okay,
films got offered to me at this point
okay,
because I feel that the films I've done have always been reflective of my current state of mind.
okay. Yeah. And
So,
that's a coincidence, right? Yeah.
I think it's just, I believe in energies. It's the energy you give
Okay.
out and the energy
Yeah.
that's what I attracted at that point of time. So I don't think it's about really, but maybe less is more,
Hmm.
is the current state of mind
Okay.
in life.
Okay.
So which is why even Mira Rao, if you see, she's very
Yeah. Yeah.
measured, and
Yeah.
maybe my next role will be completely different.
Right, right.
Who knows?
So again, like going back to your early days, the portrayal of women on screen, you are credited for changing it, right? And there was a movement, and you have made a path for those who followed you, and that kind of gave you an excitement to do more such projects. Now that you're an established star, what is it that is driving Vidya Balan?
Just I love what I do, Vivek.
Right.
I love what I do. So I think every film is a new opportunity to tell a new story,
Hmm.
to live a new character,
Right.
and that gives me great joy.
Right. And this has to be said, like you have a very hilarious social media presence.
Thank
So
you.
when are we going to see you in a, like a full-fledged comedy?
I'm hoping that someone writes that,
Yeah.
like
Have you saw the shades in say like Tumhari Sulu and even
yes,
Ganchakar?
I loved
Yeah.
Ghanchakar and Tumhari Sulu, where I really got to do some comedy, but I want to do an out and out comedy, the kind that in Malayalam cinema you would see Urvashi and
Yeah.
Innocent Sir and Srinivasan Sir. All these people
Yeah.
do those kind of comedies,
Correct. Yeah.
or Sridevi in a Mr. India, that sort of stuff.
Right. I mean, now that you spoke of Malayalam and down south, you have a lot of love receiving for your interviews or your movies. So I was just looking at your body of work, and I think apart from the NTR film
Yeah,
that you did, I think you worked with Mani Ratnam for Guru.
Guru,
Yeah,
but in a
yeah.
Hindi film.
In a Hindi movie. Yeah. So I mean, did you watch his latest Ponniyin Selvan?
No, first I want to read up on Ponniyin Selvan,
Right. Right.
which is why, because I know nothing about it,
Okay.
but that's definitely on my to-do
Right,
list.
right. And there's always like a wish from fans that is there a full-fledged Maniratnam film on cards with Vidya Balan?
I love that.
Right.
Who wouldn't?
This is a quick rapid fire called
Okay.
as the Detective Vidya Balan.
Are you?
So, which is your favorite detective film?
Favorite detective? I think Sherlock Holmes is
Right.
my favorite detective.
Okay.
Let's just put it in
Right.
like that.
And does Vidya Balan love spoilers?
No, I hate it.
Okay.
I think it's so unfair.
Right. And which is that detective movie which you watched and you said, I should have played that detective role?
Ayyo, I've never felt that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And lastly, why do you all, like you said that you want to be the detective, but have you always thought, like, have you any time thought that I would want to be the killer?
Lots of times.
Okay.
When I get irritated with someone, but not really the killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually in a film, I'd love to be the killer.
Okay.
Maybe someday.
Thank you, Vidya. Thank you for talking to us and all the best for Neeyat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that way I did not give out anything about Neeyat.